Whew. So I just got home from camp, and back home, home sweet home. And on the way home, it started raining pretty good. I got some footage of that I'm going to put up. But anyway, when I was up at camp, let me turn the light on. Here we are out in the garage. I brought my little saw and a bag to go get some fatwood because it's been a couple of years actually since I went looking for fatwood. And I ended up not taking my phone, which is the only camera I had with me, because I went with my sister, and the paths into the woods where we go were not really very safe. So we needed to concentrate. I mean, they were full of wet mud and then covered with leaves, which makes it very slippery. So we were in the, what do you call that thing? Pagoda? I can't remember that. Something. Anyway, we were riding around in that, and we actually almost got stuck a couple times, and so thankfully we made it out. But oddly enough, of all the trees in that where we were at, which is several acres, there's not very many longleaf pine, and I did see a couple, and then I went to the one where a couple years ago my nephew and I had gone to, and I had cut off one of the branches. We found the same tree. I got out, and took me forever with this saw that I got from friggin' Harbor Freight. It's duller than crap. Anyway, it took me forever. I sawed the branch off. I was going to just saw another section of the wood. My sister said, let's just grab the whole branch, throw it in the back of the, I can't even think of the name of that thing. Kubota. And we'll bring it back to camp and cut it up there. So that's what we did. We threw this big ass, like a 15-foot branch in the back of the Kubota, took it back to the campsite, and then my brother-in-law came out with a saw and helped me and my nephew cut the two pieces off. The rest of it I knew wouldn't have any fatwood because the farther away from the base, less fatwood there's going to be. So anyway, let me switch the camera around now. Hold on. All right, so these are the two pieces, and this is red pine, and it comes from a longleaf pine. So I brought it home. This was the piece that was the furthest away from the tree, the trunk, where I cut the branch off. This was a branch. Let me just show you what's inside there. Now, obviously, it faded out. I probably could have got another piece that would have had it too, but that, to me, that was enough. This is going to be some really good stuff. Now, this piece was the piece that I cut off closest to the tree itself. That was right up against the tree, and the branch came out, like this. And this is what this looks like. Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Look at that. Let me get the camera down there. There you go, friends. New York State fatwood. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And then, of course, like I said, this one is from farther away, so it thinned out as it went down the branch. But this was right up against the tree, closest to the tree. This is what it looked like. Yeah. I'm going to get some of that scraped up in a minute here and see how it burns. Hang on. Woohoo! New York State fatwood. Worked up a sweat. Couldn't sleep, so I got out of bed, and I thought, well, I'll just get an early start on my chores for my day off. Yesterday was my day off, but it kind of wasn't because I came home at 7 in the morning, slept for 2 hours, and then ended up going up to camp, which was absolutely beautiful with the fall colors, which of course I have video. And I got a chunk of fatwood. Not the greatest. I've had better. But I got up this morning, and I came out here in the garage, and I've been cleaning it up a little bit. I didn't set up the camera because I've been having a problem. I was trying to use this phone to record. For some reason, the holder thing, I don't know what you call it, that I bought for it is apparently too cheap and it keeps popping off. But anyway, let me show you what I cleaned up so far this morning. Now here it is, pretty much broken up into smaller pieces. Now, the funny thing about this fatwood, it's kind of weird. Let's see if I can get this to focus. I guess it looks kind of more normal today, but it's more of a brown color than it is a reddish orange. It's showing up on camera right now kind of as a reddish orange. Why that is not in focus? How about right there? But, yeah, I guess now today is looking a little bit more orangey. But like I said, it wasn't the greatest. It's fatwood, and of course it burns. Let's see if I can do this one-handed over here. Set that piece right there. So there you have it. I'll light up a piece here, bring it over here. And you can see the black smoke immediately. That's a black smoke coming off of that. So yeah, it's fatwood. Let me change the camera back around again. So the thing about the fatwood, it's kind of impromptu decision to go up there and try to look for it. And then of course the fact that my sister wanted to take me in the, I keep forgetting what that thing is called, the Kubota or whatever it is, and go riding through the woods. First of all, the trails were in very bad shape. Second of all, we actually got lost in the woods. And then it was kind of scary, a couple of spots that we came to that were so steep. And then we came down the incline, and it was rutted out deep in the incline. At the bottom of it was full of mud and water, and then covered with the leaves. So there was a couple of moments there we thought we weren't going to get out of there. And we would have had to have actually walked out, in which case, since we were lost, could figure out where to go. I mean, I think it's 400 acres up there. And it actually borders on some other property. And what we had gone off the trail to the extent that we started seeing posted signs. Now, the property that we are on does not have posted signs. The adjacent property does. So we must have came kitty corner to it and popped up on the wrong trails. Plus, the entire time we're out there riding through the woods trying to find a longleaf pine, somebody's out there with a shotgun. We can hear a shotgun going off. And we're like, oh, this is getting worse by the minute. We're afraid we're going to get stuck. We're lost. We can't figure out how to get back. Somebody's in the woods shooting. We're over by their property. And then, oh, it was really hectic. So actually, we ended up, she kept saying, go ahead and look for it. Go ahead and look for it. But it was a little nerve-wracking to be out walking in the woods here with shotgun blasts going off. So I said, well, let's just go back to, once we find our path again, let's just get out of here because I'd rather be safe than be stuck in the woods because I was looking for fatwood. So we took a couple of turns and we got back on our path, ended out back up because there's a pond. It borders around a pond. Once we could see the pond, we knew we were back on the right property again. So as we were coming out of the pond, I said, wait a minute, I think that's the tree I got a piece of fatwood with my nephew a couple years ago. Jumped out, didn't have my camera on because, like I said, this was very hectic trying to get this fatwood. And I said, yeah, that's the tree. Let me just cut off one of the lower branches, which I did. So I got this. And like I said, it's funny looking, but it is fatwood. I don't know why it's this. As it's starting to dry, it is turning more orangey. I mean, it's wet. The wood is wet. Even the part that doesn't have the resin is wet. But now I'm looking at it in the daytime, and it is starting to turn more bacony colored. There's probably a good shot. Is that there? Now you can see it. It's more orangey. It was really brown looking last night, but it's starting to dry out today. So yeah, it's starting to have that orangey look to it. So I mean, like I said, that wasn't a really great piece, but it was good enough. If it was still summertime, it would be easier because there's stumps up there, which I'm dying to find a good stump. But given the fact that we got lost and the paths were treacherous and we were in danger, we could have flipped the Kubota. It was that bad the paths were in that bad of shape. They haven't been ridden on in quite a while. And so anyway, I got a chunk. I'm happy. I was looking at the trees because there's a lot of birch trees up there. I was trying to see if I could see any chaga. I haven't found any yet, but who's to say at some point I won't. Anyway, let me finish putting this video together here and get back to you soon.